Welcome back to another quick self-help video. Today, I'm going to tell you the ways you can express your love and how to maintain a healthy relationship. I want to talk to you about a concept which refers to 5 love languages when it comes to properly expressing your love. A good analogy we can use to describe this model is by thinking of different languages we speak. Let's take English and Japanese for example. How will a conversation go between a person who only speaks English and a person who only speaks Japanese? That's right, not very good. They won't be able to express their feelings, ideas, thoughts, or emotions. If we are to communicate effectively across cultural lines, we must learn the language of those with whom to communicate. Exactly the same thing happens in our relationships. Because we are different individuals, we speak different love languages. Therefore, when you try to express your love, you need to know your spouse's love language and vice versa. No matter how hard you try to express your love in English, if your spouse understands only Japanese, you will never understand how to love each other. Every human being has what Dr. Gary Chapman calls a love tank. This love tank is filled every time when we receive love. Keeping the love tank full is as important to a relationship or a marriage as maintaining the proper temperature to your car engine. If the temperature is too high or too low, the engine will experience a slow death. You must keep the love tank at a right level. Besides the concept of the love tank, there is another thing I want to mention before we discuss the actual love languages. You may have experienced the in-love feeling from the beginning of a relationship, also referred to as falling in love. One misconception we have is that the in-love feeling will last forever. Unfortunately, this is not the case. According to psychologist Dr. Dorothy Tenov, that emotional state lasts on average 2 years. The in-love experience has to be recognized for what it is, a temporary emotional high. The pursuit for real love begins only after the in-love experience has run its course. So, with that being said, let's talk about how to express your love in a relationship. As mentioned before, there are 5 different love languages. The first love language we are going to discuss is words of affirmation. If your spouse's primary love language is words of affirmation, then words mean more than facts. Words of affirmation are often referred to as verbal compliments, and they are very powerful communicators. They are best expressed in simple statements such as, "I like your hair," or "Thanks for cooking dinner tonight. I want you to know that I appreciate that." A cool thing about affirming words is that we are more likely to be motivated to reciprocate and do something our spouse desires when receiving words of affirmation. Another important thing about the love languages you need to know is that, like any other language, they have dialects. Encouraging words is the dialect of words of affirmation. For example, all of us have areas in which we feel insecure. These encouraging words help us to inspire courage. By doing that, you are going to show support and understanding to your spouse. If you want to express your love verbally, keep in mind that the tone of voice is also important when we express love verbally. As an ancient sage once said, "A soft answer turns away anger." The second love language is quality time, which means giving someone your undivided attention. Bear in mind that quality time doesn't mean watching TV or listening to music together. That way, the television or song has your attention, not your spouse. Also, living in close proximity or texting while the other person is talking doesn't mean you give your spouse quality time because they don't have your full attention. Quality time simply means you are doing something together and both of you give your full attention to each other. Your spending time together communicates the fact that you enjoy being with one another and that you like doing things together. Like words of affirmation, quality time has many dialects. A very common dialect is that of quality time conversation. By quality conversation, I mean sympathetic dialogue where 2 individuals share their experiences, thoughts, feelings, and desires in a friendly, uninterrupted context. Bear in mind that quality conversation is different from words of affirmation because quality conversation focuses on what you hear, whereas words of affirmation focuses on what you say. You must learn to listen if your spouse's primary love language is quality time. Quality conversation requires not only listening, but also self-revelation. You both need to share your desires, feelings, emotions, and so forth if you really want to communicate love effectively. In addition to the basic love language, quality time, or quality conversations, there is another dialect called quality activities. Quality activities may include anything in which one or both of you have an interest. The third way you can express your love to your spouse is by giving gifts. In almost every culture, gift giving was a part of the marriage process. A gift is usually an object which communicates the fact that you are thinking about that person. The gift itself is a symbol of that, though. Visual symbols of love are more important to some people than to others. Keep in mind that gifts do not need to be expensive. If you discover that your spouse's primary love language is receiving gifts, then you must understand that purchasing gifts is an investment in your relationship, and that way you are filling your spouse's emotional tank. The fourth love language is called acts of service. Acts of service simply refers to doing things your spouse would like you to do. This way, you please your spouse by serving her. This love language is a bit tricky, and the reason for that is because it requires some of us to re-examine and change our stereotypes of the roles of husbands and wives. A willingness to examine and change stereotypes is necessary in order to express love more effectively. According to Dr. Chapman, there are no benefits for maintaining stereotypes, but there are tremendous benefits to meeting the emotional needs of your spouse. Remember that actions speak louder than words if your spouse's primary love language is acts of service. The fifth and last love language is physical touch. We have long known that physical touch is a way of expressing emotional love. Holding hands, kissing, embracing, and sexual intercourse are all ways of communicating emotional love to one's spouse. Think about the fact that almost instinctively we tend to hug one another in times of crisis. Why? Because physical touch is a powerful communicator of love. So, you may be wondering by now how you can discover your primary love language. To do that, Dr. Gary Chapman recommends you ask yourself these questions. What makes me feel loved above all else? What have I most often requested of my spouse? And lastly, in what way do I regularly express love to my spouse? Discovering whatever you have most requested is probably in keeping with your primary love language. However, your method of expressing love may also be an indicator of what actually makes you feel loved. Lastly, I want to give you one more tip about expressing and receiving love. You cannot get emotional love by way of demand. Your spouse may in fact comply with your demands. It is an act of fear or guilt or any other emotions, but not love. You can make a simple request, and that request will create a possibility for an expression of love, whereas a demand suffocates that possibility. I want to give special credit to Dr. Gary Chapman, whose work about the love languages has inspired me to create this video. Also, I recommend that you read his book called The 5 Love Languages if you want to find out more about how you can express love in a relationship. Go ahead and write your comments down below if you have any questions. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Thank you for watching this video, and if you find value in this content, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel right now as we release weekly content. Check out our Instagram page and find your daily inspiration right there. Stay well, stay focused, and happy.